welcome to the FOMO Creator Show. My name is Making Sang, first name Mayking, and welcome. How are you? Have you had a good week? Now, FOMO means the fear of missing out, and in business, it's a good thing. So if you want to sell out your next conference, your next event, festival, digital challenge, you've got a book launch, you've got a product or service launch you want to sell out, well, you've come to the right place. Now, today is another solo show where I'm going to be answering that all-important question: does FOMO work for online events and conferences? Spoiler alert, yay, it does! And today I'm going to bring you another two amazing case studies. So for those of you who weren't here last week, do go and check out last week's show, because I talked about how to create FOMO for in-person conferences, and I outlined two fabulous case studies for whom I created FOMO for: the amazing Andrew and Pete and the amazing Danny Wallace. And today I've got two more case studies for you as well. Now, just like we did last week, the first conference was an online conference, and normally I would ask my guest how we met. Now, because this is a solo show, we are going to be covering two case studies, as I've mentioned, and today I'm going to talk about the fabulous Julie Riley. Now, Julie Riley is part of StreamYard. So I go live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter all at the same time through the power of StreamYard. And Julie Riley is the social media manager there. Now, we actually met at a conference in San Diego, Social Media Marketing World. We've kept in touch ever since. And when she worked for StreamYard, got into a conversation with her. She knows what I do. She's seen me live tweeting like a fury in San Diego, and so she asked me to come along to help out StreamYard. So they had an online conference. They had two, actually. And so I created a FOMO for both of them. Now, she has also run a live show herself on StreamYard, and so she asked me to be a special guest, which is why I am there. So that's how we met. And as I mentioned, we are going to be talking about how does FOMO for online events work. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. And we've got a fabulous regular friend of the show, the fabulous Tim Lewis, with us, who's saying hello to everyone. Hi, Tim. Lovely to see you here. So how does FOMO for online events work indeed? Well, as I mentioned last week, and I will mention again, FOMO bridges the gap between social media and PR. It is the opportunity for you to go above and beyond what we're currently doing on social media and create that buzz and excitement. So showcasing what we do. If we've got any client testimonials, we put them up there as well, and showing behind the scenes of what we do also. So, as you saw in the thumbnail, we had, does FOMO work for online events? Yes, it does. And I said that it's going to feature Spinal Tap. Now, a little bit of a confession to make. When I took this screenshot using my new phone, because I've got a new phone, I've moved from iPhone to Samsung. I know a lot of iPhone users will be unhappy with me. I've been trying to figure out how to use my new phone, and I couldn't quite figure out how to create an image of myself, and inadvertently took a picture of one of the Spinal Tap members. So hashtag mistakes. Tim's saying hello to Simon from the Global Discussion. Oh, hi Simon, lovely to see you. Now, as an aside, if you want to hear some incredible discussions, you do need to go and check out Simon Hodgkin's Global Discussion. I had the pleasure and privilege of being interviewed by him last week. He's also had John Espirian on the show as well, the LinkedIn expert, and a whole host. So go and check that out. So it's nice that Tim and Simon are saying hello. And in response to Spinal Tap, Tim's actually saying 10 up to 11. Yeah, that's right. Now, just in all seriousness, though, when I do go live or when I'm having a meeting with people, people do ask me about my background. So I've got the poster up there, Back to the Future, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and this is Spinal Tap, and also Rosie the Riveter from World War II poster fame. Now, this shows a little behind the scenes of my environment. And so actually the thumbnail that I created, if we just bring that up again, just very briefly. Yeah, so that's a little mistake that I made. But I'm here to make an important point, because a good way of creating FOMO for your online event is to show a bit of BTS. No, I don't mean the K-pop sensation. I mean behind the scenes. So I love music. I love film. They help me to think of ideas of what I can do in order to bring a bit of buzz and excitement into my marketing and for my clients as well. And so by surrounding myself with all of these films and posters and things that inspire me, it really helps my creativity. But behind the scenes is really important for for your conference. And so I am going to show you a couple of ways in which Julie from StreamYard did just that. Now, this was actually so I was hired for them to hired by StreamYard to create FOMO for them on Instagram and also on Twitter. And on Instagram stories, you can see here on the left-hand side there, I'm not very good at pointing fingers. There we go. On the first image on the left-hand side, you can see that Julie actually took a screenshot of her behind the scenes, because we're all nosy, aren't we? And it's great because you can see the laptop on the side there. She's got a headphone, she's got her teleprompter, and she's got the StreamYard Summit just behind her as well. And she's just explaining that she's all set and ready, because one of the guests of the online conference, which is called the StreamYard Summit, she was going to be interviewing the fabulous Jessica Phillips about relationship building. So by showing a little behind the scenes of what you're doing, you're inviting the audience in, you're inviting your lurkers, because we all create content for the lurkers, am I right? We're inviting the lurkers in. We're getting them buzzed and excited about what we do. Now, right in the middle there, again, this is a little bit of behind the scenes, because whilst I was live tweeting, whilst I was Instagram storying, also having a bit of fun as well, because at the start of StreamYard's online conference, they had a DJ Asher, and she was amazing. So I was like bopping away whilst I was tweeting, and I thought I'd share that as well. And in fact, as a nod to the K-pop sensation BTS, I put in hashtag there, BTS Army. And on the right hand side there, I did a little cheeky sticker there of BTS, because they're amazing, aren't they? But BTS in FOMO instances means behind the scenes, as I've mentioned before. So these are the ways in which you can create a bit of buzz and excitement before an event, by showing behind the scenes. And what you're doing is actually letting your lurkers know that there's a lot of work that goes into an online event, and this is what you're going to get. So as when we're marketing an event, yes, you definitely need to explain how much it is, but also explain what people are going to expect. What speakers are going to be talking about, and I've created a lot of pre-FOMO in the past, including StreamYard. And one of the other ways in which we can do that, so as Tim Lewis said, turn it to 11. That's exactly what FOMO is all about. And so with StreamYard, before the online event itself, we created a bit of pre-FOMO, and this is what I did. So I actually interviewed Julie, uh, the social media manager for StreamYard. So that's in the top right hand corner there. I also interviewed some of the speakers that were going to feature on that day as well. And again, it was to create that bit of buzz, that bit of excitement for the event. So we had the amazing Daniel Batal, who is an amazing YouTuber. He also shares some great tips as well on Twitter. So do go and follow him. So that was a guy on the left there. And then I mentioned Julie was interviewing Jessica Phillips. So that was me interviewing Jessica over on the bottom left there. And on the bottom right, we have the fabulous Marco Montemagno, who is Italian, based in Brighton. And so we had a great conversation there. So pre-FOMO is a great way of really showcasing what people are going to expect. And interviewing is one of the things that I do for my clients, because it gets people excited, sharing a little insight into what the speaker is going to be talking about at the conference, and getting a little sense of whether that session is going to be suitable for you. Maybe you've never heard of Daniel Batal before, and so you want to tune in and listen in and see what you're going to hear on his session. Relationship building. Well, hopefully we all know what to do there, but maybe we could listen to Jessica to see if we think we're going to learn anything new there, and we definitely did on Jessica's session. So this is why pre-FOMO and behind the scenes, showcasing a little bit about what's involved, interview people on the conference is a great way of doing just that. So that's why I was hired, to create that buzz and excitement. And obviously with pre-FOMO, the ultimate goal is to get people onto the event. So as a result of me doing a few of those interviews, I know two or three people signed up to that conference because they saw that the interviews that I did, and people wanted to know where I signed up, so where to sign up. So behind the scenes, pre-FOMO, doing interviews, showcasing what to expect, little insight, a little sneak peek into the working day of whatever it is you do, can really, really help for people to get involved. Now, my next question is, what impact did live FOMO have? So on the day for StreamYard, on both online conferences, I live tweeted, and I also created some Instagram stories as well. So Tim asked a question just before we go on to that. What do you think? What do you think is important to do in a pre-event interview? So that's a great question, Tim. There's a lot of things that you can do in a pre-event interview. The ultimate goal is to sell the event. So we obviously need to lead up to that. But for some people that I've interviewed, some of them have never been interviewed before. So there's actually a lot of a bit of pre-work that I need to do, a bit of preparation that I need to do before I actually do the interview itself. So that's a great question there. And so I want to, with the person that I'm interviewing, I want to make sure that they are okay. Some people can get really nervous because they've never been on video before. Some people don't know what to expect. So I kind of explain what I do and explain how long the interview is going to be, what's going to happen next. And normally when I run the FOMO Creator Show, some of you may know that I have the fabulous Mark Orr, who pushes my buttons. And he is also an amazing magician when it comes to videos. So what he does is converts my StreamYard videos into fantastic perfectly branded videos. So if I just go back to the previous slide there, and just show that these were all created on Zoom, but then I handed them over to Mark, and what he did was then create his magic, put the branding across it, he captioned them, and also, most importantly, at the end is we put in a call to action because we want people to sign up to the conference. So those are the kind of things that I do in preparation for the pre-event interview, and also at the interview itself, what kind of things we do there. Yeah, it is important because, as I say, with most conferences, you will have your traditional marketing, whether that's through email, whether that's through social media, whether it's through flyers, whether it's picking the phone up, whatever you currently do in marketing is great. Keep doing that. When it comes to FOMO, we need to do a bit more. So we need to add the sprinkles to the cupcake, as it were. The FOMO is all about the sprinkles, and we all like sprinkles on our cupcake, don't we? So that was a great question. I hope I answered your question there, Tim. Thank you for that. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea on what is required when it comes to doing pre-FOMO interviews. So, going back to the question that I was going to answer before Tim asked that fabulous question, what impact did live FOMO have? So, the whole idea behind me creating FOMO for StreamYard for both conferences was really to raise awareness. The online conference was free. It was a brand awareness scheme to really put themselves out there. They had, at that time, had just recently been acquired by Hop-In Events. So it was a wonderful collaboration between the two of them to really bring themselves onto the big stage. So the whole idea behind hiring me to create live FOMO was to really amplify that voice. So what did I do for them? Well, what I did was I created 54 Instagram stories. And in addition to that, 460 tweets were pushed out, which reached 2.2 million people. So I tweeted on behalf of StreamYard. I did a total of 171 tweets, but I also engaged with people who were also tweeting as well. So that's why there were 460 in total. Now, that's the first screenshot in the top right there. And the bottom, you can see the highest impact. So potentially how many people or how many number of times will people have seen the tweets that had the hashtag SY Summit? And you can see that I tweeted on behalf of StreamYard 171 times, and on their account, it reached over 1 million people. Now, because I retweeted on my own account, Making Tea, there was an additional 175,000 reach there as well. And because of the interactions that I created, and when I tweeted, and when I contributed, there were 117 people in total who were contributing to the online event at the time. Some of them were speakers, some of them were attendees, some of them were sponsors, some of them were influencers. So what I mean by influencers is no, I don't mean Kardashians. But we're all influencers. Anyone who has a community, anyone who has an active following on Twitter, on Instagram, on any of the social media channels, if you engage with people and people engage with you regularly, then you are an influencer. Now, Tim Lewis, he is a regular viewer of the show, and he is an influencer. He has people interacting with him on a regular basis. So, when you're tweeting or Instagramming an online event, and if people are taking action as a result of you posting something out there, then you are also an influencer too. So bringing that back up to the screen there, as I mentioned, although I was tweeting on StreamYard's account, because I retweeted on my own account making tea, I also helped them to get more reach. And as I mentioned, as a result, people did sign up to the conference because I was talking about it before the event happened. Uh, Tim was saying, "I'm sure you have the Kardashians' contacts on your phone." Not anymore. Switched from iPhone to Samsung, and I decided to block them. I'm kidding. I didn't have them on their phone, on my phone. So that's the first case study with StreamYard. They had a conference, SY Summit. They wanted me to create some pre-FOMO. So I did some interviews. As a result of that, people signed up to the conference, and I'm sure other people signed up as well. And the speakers also shared the interviews as well. So it's just putting the reach out there. And then live FOMO, the impact that I had made there was that their account, their Twitter account, had reached, 1.17 million people, but also there were other people contributing. There were 117 contributors in total, all raising awareness about StreamYard and what they were doing on that day, who they'd learned from, and all the rest of it. Now, the second case study for online events and whether FOMO had an impact on this next online event is from someone that you will have met before if you follow me. So we'll mention how we met. It's a fabulous Amanda Webb from Spiderworking. For those of you who do follow my show, I did actually interview her on how you can create FOMO using Google Analytics. So that's a link there if you wanted to have a look at that show. But if you go onto YouTube, search FOMO creator, you'll be able to see my show and you'll be able to click on that. But Amanda and I have been great friends. We first met in San Diego, Social Media Marketing World. It was actually the same event that I met Tim Lewis at. So Tim and I had been tweeting for a little while, and then just by chance, it was amazing. We met at Social Media Marketing World, and Amanda and I also met there as well. She actually tells the story of how we first met in the Google Analytics FOMO using Google Analytics show that I did with her. So do go and check that out. You'll find lots of great information there. So since then we've met, we've hung out, in San Diego, in Dublin, in Belfast, in London, in Nottingham, Newcastle rather, and also Manchester last week. She is the co-host of a podcast that we're going to be releasing soon called the Digital Marketing Show. Digital Coffee Extra Shot. So if you think Great British Bake Off, they have the extra slice. Ours is the extra shot. But much better than extra slice, I assure you. So we've been friends for a long time, and as I mentioned, we do the extra shot together. If I just explain what Amanda did, she actually, a couple of weeks ago, she ran an online event called Analytics Day. And it was to coincide with the fact that Google Analytics were moving from the old Google Analytics to what they call as GA4. And so Google were encouraging us to move across from Google Analytics to GA4. And for those of you who don't move across, then all of your old data is going to be lost. So Amanda, to sort of celebrate the new transition to this new Fandangle GA4, she ran an event, an online event, where she had a whole host of speakers talking from an analytics theme. And with any event, of course, you've got to do some marketing, but in addition to the marketing, she also created a bit of pre-FOMO as well. So this is what she did with the pre-FOMO on our Digital Coffee Extra Shot. It's a LinkedIn audio show that we run every Friday, except we're not running it tomorrow. We're having a bit of a holiday break. Amanda's on holiday at the moment, but normally on a Friday, 10:30 UK and Ireland time, we're on LinkedIn and we discuss this week's latest digital marketing news. So I'm sure that if we'd have been on this week, we'd have been talking about Threads. And I know, Tim, you've been on Threads for a while. Simon, I don't know if you're still around. I know that you've also been on Threads as well and shared your thoughts on that. So in the Digital Coffee Extra Shot, she obviously promoted her Analytics Day event. And from our LinkedIn audio show, anyone who shares their thoughts, on this week's latest digital marketing news, then we also get them to come onto the virtual stage and promote whatever it is they're doing as well. So that's just as a thank you for you sharing your thoughts and discussions with us. So that's what Amanda did. She promoted the event there. She also promoted it on emails. She had some graphics which she shared with all of her speakers and her partner, who was Feed Alpha. And so, obviously, I'm the FOMO creator, so she created a graphic for me as well. So I shared that. And Amanda also has the Digital Coffee show every Friday at 9:30. And so, she talked about that as well. So in the top left-hand corner there, you can see that she actually had a QR code and also a link that she put up there to get people to register for her Analytics Day. If you sign up to her email, she doesn't spam you. She emails you from time to time. And she also, that was the email that she shared to remind people about Analytics Day as well. So these are the kind of things that you would do to try and get people to sign up. But she did a little bit extra. And that's the sprinkles on top of the cupcake, as I mentioned before. We've got another comment from the fabulous Tim. He says, love Threads, though wonder if it will be this way forever. So have any of you been on Threads yet? Do you enjoy it? I know a lot of people have been saying it's a throwback to when Twitter was beautiful as a text-based app back in those days in 2010. And I know that there are lots of genuine great conversations that are happening on Threads at the moment. This is the new app that's kind of stemmed from, I don't know if it stemmed from the furor between Musk and Zuckerberg, but anyway, it does seem that there are a lot of functionality in Threads that is kind of very similar to Twitter, and so Musk is threatening to sue, I think, because of that. Don't know whether that's going to happen, but anyway, we'll soon see. So let's talk about live FOMO then. So for Analytics Day, what I did for Amanda was I live tweeted. I also created live Instagram posts, and I also created live Instagram stories for her as well. All from my desktop because it is an online event. So perhaps I should have mentioned that earlier. With online conferences, I think my personal best for live tweeting just on Twitter was 548 tweets. And my personal best on my phone at an in-person conference was 1,276 tweets. So you can see there's a slight difference, but that's because on a computer, I'm print screening the image. I don't just want to use my phone because I don't want, I want a good quality photograph, not of the computer screen, but of the image of the online event. So that's why it takes a little bit longer there. But the impact can still be the same depending on the audience, of course. So with the digital marketing, with the Analytics Day 23, then this is what I did. We've got an Instagram grid there. I created these graphics. I also created a script. Sorry, not a script, but I collected some of the great tips from all the speakers that I tweeted as well on the day itself. So I was doing that constantly from, I think it was from 1 o'clock till 10. And I had a bit more to do. So I think it was about 10 hours that I was doing it in total all the way through. And, it's what I do. I love doing it. Now, the impact that live FOMO have then is what we're going to finish up on. And this is what we did. So because I Instagrammed 9 times, and if you go and have a look at Spider Working's Instagram account, you'll be able to see the level of detail that I went to. It's effectively a blog post, really, of all the speakers that that had all the information there. In addition to that, I pushed them up onto Instagram stories very quickly, so we had nine Instagram stories as well. I also tweeted as well, and in total there were 387 tweets that reached 3.3 million people. There were 26 contributors, including myself, of course, and Feed Alpha, who was one of the partners, speakers, attendees, and also influencers as well. So people who didn't attend the event also contributed as well. So you can see on the right there, we've got Spiderworking. So I was tweeting on behalf of Amanda. There were 168 tweets on that day. And then I did a few tweets on my own account as well. That was 128. And some of those people who were in the top 10 there, some of them weren't even attending the event. So these are the influencers that I'm talking about. So they retweeted or they liked or they commented on a tweet, which means that it shares it to their community. And so, it had an impact. So, those are the kind of things that I did for Amanda. So, hopefully, you enjoyed this broadcast. Hopefully, you got a bit of a sense, a bit of an idea on how FOMO can work for online events. If you don't have someone dedicated to live tweet, to do Instagram stories, Instagram posts, LinkedIn posts, I've done that before, Facebook lives, Facebook posts, if you don't have anyone dedicated, then people are missing out. So it's really, really important to have someone dedicated to do just that. And one final pointer I will bring is that Julie Riley from StreamYard, she's a social media manager. And even as a social media manager, she knew that there was no way that she'd be able to create content. She'd be able to interview one of the speakers, and she'd be, making sure that there's a lot of things that are happening in the background as well that she was looking after. There's no way she'd be able to do that as well as create content live on the day as well. So even though she can do my job, she chose to hire me. She chose to hire the best. Of course she did. To create live FOMO and pre-FOMO for her. And the same with Amanda. Amanda's been in the digital space for such a long time, but she chose to hire a FOMO creator to dedicate their time to actually create FOMO, create the live social media content for them on the conference. So I hope you enjoyed this broadcast. And next week, we are going to be talking about what are we going to be talking about? Does FOMO? I've got so many topics in my head. I've forgotten which one I'm going to cover next week. Well, you're going to have to tune in, aren't you? But it probably will start with the title. Does FOMO work for? Spoiler does. Spoiler alert. Yes, it does. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this broadcast. This has been the FOMO Creator Show. I am your host, Making Sang, first name Mayking, and we're going to end with the credits that the fabulous Tim Lewis actually created. So if you want some incredible graphics, incredible videos like this one, then do go and contact him. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.